practically 2 words to sum up this vehicle. Nostalgia bait. ELC AMX 901. Now technically this vehicle is a precursor to the AMX ELC BIS. It was tested in 1955, whereas the BIS came out in 1956, 57, so it's a prototype to the actual Tier 5 in the game, with a 90mm as well, but no muzzle brake on the actual gun barrel, different modification to the turret and the chassis, but there are a few rare photographs of this vehicle, so somehow it's at a tier higher even though it's a prototype. But back then, tier 5 light tanks could see tier 10s, right? So the matchmaking was different, the penetration of the gun was different. It was like 170 for a 90mm at tier 5, which was pretty crazy. So yeah, nostalgia bait. You missed the old AMX ELC. Here is a pseudo copy, I guess. What have you done to my boy? Look how they massacred my boy. It is a earlier chassis design and an earlier turret design, but it doesn't have the 36-40-ish horsepower per ton ratio, I don't think. And the 170mm of pin for the 90mm, so the gold shell back then for the AMX ELC was like $250 for a tier 5 light tank, which was crazy. But back then you have to pay actual gold to use the gold shell, not credits. They changed that later on because pay to win, right? But yeah, the vehicle is okay, I guess, but it's a tier higher. So historically significant vehicle, but nostalgia bait for the old AMX ELC BIS. I love mine, I really do, but the gun is, it's like a tank destroyer, not really a light tank. And they did buff the actual turret traverse for the 75mm, but it's still more of a tankette than actual tank. So 2-man crew, commander and a driver. Commander is the loader, is the gunner, is the radio operator, but now we have the crew skill bonus skills or shared skills, which is nice for only 2-man crew vehicle. It's a special tier 6, so yeah, I guess we know what this year's well-deserved reward is, but at least it had something to do with what we experienced prior, right? Like 10 years ago, whereas Gobbler's Destroyer had nothing to do with previous vehicles. Like nada. Lancaster car? Not really. I mean, we had that for the Mark 1 or Mark 4, but that's practically it. So give us the Burt, the original size of the FE304, please. They won't. At tier 7, no, they won't. So, it's okay. I'm just disappointed. It's a nostalgia bait. Oh, it's fine, but let's take a look at the actual stats. 90mm, only 130mm of pin, and 170 for the historic high explosive anti-tank round, but it's at tier 6 now. And the DPM's not great, so about the same DPM as with the tier 5, the BIS. Shell velocity, okay, but accuracy, aim time still god awful. Gun depression angle is still 5, so the same feeling. Gun traverse limit is only 15 degrees per side. Now originally it was like 40 degrees or so per side of the pseudo turret. You cannot fully traverse the turret unless it's a 75mm now, but it's even more limiting with the gun traverse arc. 44 rounds, but with that DPM, it'll take you a while to spam enough the 90 out of your gun barrel. 28 horsepower per ton ratio, not as good as the original like 36 or 40. Top speed of 60, not as good as the original 65. Yeah, it was faster originally. Hull traverse is decent enough. Turret traverse okay. 600 health, no armor. Camo is pretty decent. I think that was... Originally, they didn't give you the actual camo percentage value. So, radio is still kind of if. View range is still kind of if. But it's about the gun, and the gun doesn't have the pin. Like with the ELC AMX BIS at tier 5, but an old relic of the past. 120mm of pin. 150. View range, I have the equipment and other stuff, but horsepower per ton ratio is better than the tier 5, even though it's a prototype for some reason. It has more DPM. Fine. Not really. It's about the same. 11 seconds compared to 13 or 14 seconds. Well, let's see. Yeah, slightly a little bit better, but accuracy is still if, right? Aim time is still if. Accuracy is actually worse. What? 0.4 compared to 0.38. You have faster aim time, but somehow worse accuracy. At a tier higher. A little bit more DPM though, but... Really? I thought it was about 30 degrees per side. It's been a while since I played the ELC AMX, the BIS. I thought it was about 30 degrees per side. Historically, it was about 30 degrees per side. Otherwise, I'm stupid. But yeah, originally it was like 170mm of pin for the actual 90mm. So, I mean, 8 tons of weight. Still relatively fast. We have to see the actual terrain resistance, but view range could be better. Radio range could be better. Not exactly that good of a scout unless you're very close to your heavy tanks. No artillery support across the map unless your heavy tanks tells what you spot to the artillery. Does relaying work? The original crew skill for the radio operator. Do they even have relay on the crew perk? I have no idea anymore. So what if you spot the vehicle, but the heavy tanks transmit the actual position to the artillery in the back? I don't know. But whatever, it's okay. I mean, it's at tier 6. It will see tier 8s. It will not compete for actual spotting, so it's mostly focused on damage. It's not a premium tank, it is a reward tank or special tank. Yeah. Well-deserved reward, practically. But it doesn't feel that fast. Really doesn't feel that fast. It's about the same. Without the turbocharger, obviously, but top speed is the same. Concealment feels eh. I mean, it's okay. It's not that crazy, but let's see. This is the original 19.7 patch of the AMX ELC. But let's go with the current patch. So currently horsepower per ton ratio 26 or so. Health, no health. The same camo now with the actual tier 5, but you're a tier higher with the same freaking view range and 10 more meters of radio coverage. Oh great, 10 more meters, wonderful. So by the way, originally in 9.17.1 or 0.9.17.1, it had 170mm of pen for AP. And gold shell back then was 250 on a tier 5 light tank. That could see tier 10s. Has 36 rounds, not that much potential damage, about 37 horsepower per ton ratio, a little bit more kilometers per hour top speed. But they don't have the camouflage percentage back then. Oh well. Oh, nostalgia bait. Why do you do this? They don't have the galls to build back the original Burt, the FE304, before they increase the size to like an actual FE304. Originally, it was about the same size as an AMX ELC, but it's artillery. Close range artillery. I don't know how I feel about this, man. I mean, it's a tier higher with about the same pen of the gun, right? DPM is a little bit better, but 1300 is not that much. It's not even close to a actual tier 6 light tank. Usually it's about 1500 or 1600 on tier 6 lights. So it's not focused on the actual gun. But let's see, by stats, by DPM, by tier 6 light tanks. Oh, derp guns all the way, of course, derps. Yeah, middle of the road is 1600 or so. Lower end is the stock guns on the T37 and the MT25. That is the stock gun. So, yeah, kind of crap. Kind of crap. But equipment wise for this vehicle, I would say just go spotting. You're not that good at spotting with that view range and that radio coverage, but might as well for your heavy tanks. So you're more of a close range spotter. And the mobility is still good enough. So I put a turbocharger, optics, and low exhaust for my AMX ELC. You could put a rammer if you want. Also vertical stabilizer. You don't have that much DPM to be vertical stabilizing anything. I wouldn't say focus on the gun. Let your heavy tanks, let your tank destroyers do the damage. Just spot. Just use the camo and spot. And there's no field mods for tier 5s, but man. I didn't even touch the AMX 13 with the FL11 turret. Nope. This vehicle is a prototype to the actual AMX. It's at a tier higher. It's like a freaking 3. No. It's like a 4? No, it's not a 4. You're not that good at spotting. You have the camo and mobility, but that's all you have. The gun is not going to do that much penetration or alpha damage is surprising, but you're not that DPM high of a tank destroyer. It's a shadow. It's not even close. If this thing has 170 millimeters of pin for a tier 6 light tank, we can talk, right? We can talk. It has only 130. You're forced to spam gold chill. So that's not good. It's not a premium tank for you to just spam gold all the time. It's also 170 high explosive anti-tank with only 800 meters per second. So not the craziest of 250mm pen APCR on the original AMX, right? And then they nerf it in the next patch. Or what the hell's the original stats? This is the... Oh, that was the original stats. I'm a fudging idiot. There we go with the actual percentage camo. Stationary camo. I was looking at the originals. They don't show you. I mean, the best camo out of a light tank at tier 6, so that's good. The best horsepower per ton ratio? No, compared to the car, compared to a T50-2, not exactly. It's good, but it's not that crazy. Actually, just a little bit above average. Slightly above average of about 27 or so. Yeah, the best camo, but otherwise you're not doing much with the actual vehicle. Let's see, view range. Update. Not exactly. Bottom of the barrel in view range. Radio range? They don't even put radio range. Radio range doesn't matter. They don't even put radio range. Yeah, radio sucks. If this thing has a 170mm pen AP round, we can talk. If this thing has 250mm pen gold shell, we can talk. Or about 1,700 DPM, 1,500 DPM, we can talk, right? With that penetration, but yeah, we it's very bottom of the barrel of DPM. No question. It's like a 3.5. You're running about, but that's all you're doing. You could take a few pot shots, but the pot shots are not accurate. It's also long to aim. You cannot fully traverse the turret. So this thing is lacking penetration, lacking actual DPM, lacking radio coverage. But it's a nostalgia bait. It's not premium. I'm just sad. Well, there you go, folks. The 901 AMX ELC. It's a 3.5. 4 at best. But yeah, they don't have the possibility of giving back the original Burt, the FE304. They don't have the galls. Yeah, this was the original size, about the same as this, but it's artillery. They increased the size to about a Sherman size, which historically is accurate, but I don't want it. It doesn't matter also, you're not supposed to be getting hit anyways, but oh well. Oh well. Oh god. Well, there you go, folks. The 901. Enjoy your well-deserved reward, collecting dust, as always. But as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.